Today, we're going to talk about something called CleanEFT. Think of it as a really thoughtful way to understand what's going on inside of us. A gentle journey inward to find a bit more clarity and calm.
You know that feeling, right? That sensation deep down that you just can't put a name to. It might feel like a knot, or maybe a heavy weight, or something else entirely. Well, CleanEFT is all about honoring those feelings exactly as they are, without anyone trying to slap a label on them for you.
So let's break this down. We're going to start with the first piece of the puzzle, which is something called clean language. The best way to think about it is like a compass, one that helps you find your way around your own inner world, using your own words as the guide.
This all started back in the 1980s with a therapist named David Grove. He had this incredible insight. He noticed that his clients, especially people who'd been through trauma, would naturally use metaphors to talk about what they were feeling. So instead of trying to figure out what he thought those metaphors meant, he came up with a way of asking questions that helped the person explore their own meaning on their own terms.
And that's why it's called clean. The whole idea is to keep the conversation from getting, polluted by the practitioner's own ideas, assumptions, or advice. Their job isn't to fix anything, but to be a kind of mirror, reflecting your own words back to you. And that right there builds this amazing sense of safety and trust.
Okay, so let's see what this looks like in practice. A typical question might be something like, does that make you feel anxious? See how that puts a word, anxiety, into your mouth? It's an interpretation. But a clean question is different. It might be, and what kind of feeling is that feeling? It's so simple, but it does something completely different. It gently invites you to look inward and discover more for yourself without any outside influence.
All right, so that's the compass for your mind. Now we need an anchor for your body. And that's where the second part comes in. Emotional freedom techniques, or EFT. This is what provides that feeling of calm and stability while you do your exploring.
You've probably heard of EFT before, maybe as tapping. People often describe it as being a bit like acupuncture, but without any needles. The idea is that by gently tapping on certain points on your body, you can actually help calm the physical side of emotional distress. So how does that even work? Well, it's actually pretty fascinating. When you focus on a tough feeling and start tapping, it sends a calming signal straight to the part of your brain that acts like a smoke alarm. It's called the amygdala. That signal basically tells your body, hey, you're actually safe right now. This helps turn down that whole fight or flight response, which lets the emotional intensity fade and creates a little more space to breathe.
So, we've got a compass for clarity and an anchor for calm. What happens when you put these two things together? Well, this is where CleanEFT really becomes something special, way more than just the sum of its parts.
What's so interesting is that these two powerful methods grew up completely separately. You had David Grove working on his language approach in the 80s, and then in the 90s, Gary Craig was busy turning meridian tapping into the EFT system we know today. For a long time, they were on these parallel tracks. It wasn't until much later that people realized, whoa, what happens if we combine these?
So what's the big problem that putting them together actually solves? It really comes down to one simple word: imprecision. When you're trying to work through something, being really precise about what you're targeting makes all the difference in the world.
This really says it all. The word anxiety it's just a general label, right? It's an idea. But feeling a jagged red wire in my chest, now that is a real specific physical experience. So if you're tapping to calm your system, which one do you think is going to be more effective? The vague label or that very precise personal image? And that is the beautiful synergy right there. Clean language helps you find the exact words, the laser-focused target that perfectly captures your inner experience. And then EFT comes in and provides that soothing, calming effect directly to that target. It gets your mind and your body working together on the exact same page. Now you might be thinking, hey, tapping is a great self-help tool, and you're absolutely right. But there's a really unique benefit to experiencing all of this with a trained practitioner who can act as a safe and gentle guide for the journey. Being able to tap on your own for everyday stress is fantastic. It's so valuable. But when you're ready to look at some of the deeper, more complicated stuff, a practitioner holds a space for you, a kind of safe container that makes it possible to process things in a way that's often just too hard to do by yourself.
And the experience of a guided session just feels different. You get to let go, you don't have to worry about figuring it all out or guiding yourself. The practitioner handles the pacing, they make sure you feel safe, and they bring that precision with the clean questions. The whole atmosphere is designed to be calm and respectful, so change can happen on its own, gently, without any pressure or drama. You just get to be heard.
And really, that brings us right to the heart of it. It's all about that feeling of being truly and deeply heard, not just by someone else, but maybe for the first time, by yourself. So if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. CleanEFT isn't about a practitioner fixing you. It's about creating the perfect conditions, that mix of crystal clear language and bodily calm, where your own system's natural wisdom can step forward and do the healing that it already knows how to do.
So we'll just leave you with this to think about. In a world that so often tells us to just push through our feelings or analyze them to death, what could become possible if your inner world was finally met with both clarity and calm?